Shocking new footage from Charlie Kirk's assassination shows a man behind him making mysterious hand signals just seconds before the fatal shot.
If you think you've seen it all, think again. This is the gossip room where secrets can't stay buried and every frame hides a story. The internet has seen it all. Politicians breaking down on live TV, influencers accused of forging donation receipts, celebrities exposing scandals just to stay in the spotlight. But nothing, absolutely nothing, prepared viewers for what Charlie Kirk's former bodyguard allegedly revealed. Because according to online reports, this isn't just another rumor. It's the testimony of the one person said to have been closest to him before the incident. They say loyalty dies in darkness. But what happens when the person sworn to protect you begins to question what really happened that night? Would you stay silent to survive? Or speak out and risk everything? The internet couldn't believe it, and neither will you. Because the moment he spoke, the entire story surrounding Charlie and Erica Kirk flipped upside down. One viewer commented, "Watch every frame." And trust me, what comes next is even more unsettling. It started quietly, like most stories, with carefully hidden cracks. No big headlines, no viral hashtags, just one familiar name gone from the guest list, and a new one appearing in corporate files. At first, no one noticed when Mason Reed, Charlie Kirk's longtime head of security, suddenly stopped showing up at Turning Point events. He was always the quiet one-crew cut, black suit, scanning the room without ever being seen. The kind of man you never notice until he disappears. Then, last week, he finally spoke. Not on TV, not at a press conference, but on a tiny, overlooked independent podcast. Within 24 hours, the clip exploded across the internet with over 20 million views. His voice was calm, but his hands trembled just enough to tell another story. "I couldn't sleep," Mason reportedly said. "I kept replaying that night the way he looked at me before the door closed, like he knew something I didn't. And in that moment, everything changed." Those who once believed Charlie Kirk's story was a simple tragedy are now asking very different questions. Erica Kirk, the widow who once shared moving Bible verses online.
"Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do." That man, that young man, I forgive him.
He said 3 cars arrived just after midnight, one SUV with its plates covered, another with temporary Virginia tags. Inside, he reportedly recognized 2 people, a major donor and a political strategist often seen in federal briefings. They went straight into Charlie's private office. Erica allegedly told Mason to stand guard outside, no interruptions. He followed orders, but behind the door, the tension was undeniable. Low voices, a chair scraping, Charlie's tone rising, the word donor repeated, then silence. Security logs from that night show that at 1:47 a.m., Charlie stepped out alone, shirt slightly open, face pale. He turned to Mason and quietly said, "Get some rest, leave it to me." Online, that single detail set the internet ablaze. Some dismissed Mason as attention-seeking. Others believed he was an unwilling witness. Then came the screenshots, allegedly from the security company's own cloud records, and suddenly the story couldn't be ignored. The timestamps matched, the logs aligned. Even the lighting in the driveway seemed to confirm the timeline. Soon after, our investigation team reportedly obtained a set of internal memos from the same security firm dated just 3 days after the incident. The email was brief, almost chilling. Client terminated, no further reporting. Client terminated, no further reporting. Delete camera data. At first glance, it looked like routine paperwork, just another internal notice. But then came the twist. The request hadn't come from Charlie's family or their attorney. It originated from an untraceable VPN address in Washington, D.C. And that's when this story stopped being a tragedy and turned into a chilling mystery. Not long after, people who had worked closely with Charlie began reaching out. A former event manager reportedly sent a voice memo saying Charlie had become increasingly paranoid, worried that his phone was being monitored. He kept changing SIM cards, switching devices, and even admitted that inside his own home, he sometimes felt watched. Another insider, an assistant who asked to remain anonymous for safety reasons, recalled that in the final week before the incident, Charlie had a tense argument with a relative over a business contract. She wanted him to sign. He refused. "If I sign this," he allegedly said, "I'll lose my soul." Back then, the assistant brushed it off. Now, she says she can't. Meanwhile, Erica Kirk's online presence shifted overnight. She deleted high-resolution wedding photos, turned off comments, and began posting vague messages about sacred moments and truth finding its way out. But what really set the internet ablaze was a recent live stream where she appeared to accidentally read a private message aloud. "Tell them the bodyguard is lying." Within minutes, the comments section exploded. Viewers flooded the chat with questions: who is she talking to? And "Number Justice for Charlie" trended across multiple platforms. Just hours later, the podcast where Mason Reed had shared his account was abruptly removed, citing a privacy violation. And you know how it goes when something vanishes that fast. People only want to see it more. Within a day, Mason's LinkedIn disappeared. By morning, so had he. Neighbors told local reporters his apartment looked spotless, the laptop gone, the phone gone, yet the plants were still being watered. Online investigators started connecting the dots. The pattern felt all too familiar, the same eerie silence that followed a Turning Point insider's disappearance months earlier after raising questions about donations. Coincidence? The internet didn't think so. Then came the detail no one could ignore. An anonymous Telegram account uploaded an audio file, claiming to be Mason. The voice was distorted, muffled, shaky, but still clear enough to catch one chilling line: "If anything happens to me, check the cameras in the garage." We tried. We really did. But when investigators reached out to the security company for confirmation, they denied that any such cameras had ever existed. Except, there was a problem. Someone uncovered the original installation invoice. And on that invoice was a name everyone recognized: the signature of Erica Kirk's mother. That was the moment everything shifted. What began as a personal tragedy suddenly turned into a maze of unanswered questions and hidden power. This story stopped being about loss. It became about influence, control, and the people who quietly pull the strings behind the curtain. Because Mason Reed was there that night, the night before the incident that changed everything. And according to him, what he overheard still haunts him to this day. It wasn't just an argument or a business dispute. He said he heard names, dates, and figures that connected far beyond any marriage or political movement. But the most haunting detail of all? Mason never dared to reveal who was on the other end of the phone call. Erica reportedly received at 1:53 a.m. During his podcast appearance, he paused, eyes down, voice trembling, and then said the line that set the internet on fire. Let's just say, it's someone who's never lost an election. Within hours, social media erupted. Comment sections filled with theories, timelines, and speculation, linking the story to powerful figures, campaign donors, and even global advisors. The internet wasn't just watching anymore, it was investigating. On Reddit, theories spread faster than wildfire. Timeline breakdowns, flight paths, and travel maps began appearing everywhere, multiplying like mushrooms after rain. For the first time, even mainstream media had to acknowledge what they once brushed off as just online chatter. CNN aired a cautious segment titled, "Unverified claims about the Kirk incident are spreading online." Fox News called it a digital witch hunt. But behind the scenes, reporters from both sides were quietly reaching out, asking for one thing: the original recording. That's when it became clear the story had spiraled beyond anyone's control. And then things took a darker turn. Just as investigators prepared to share data, the internal email archive was mysteriously compromised. Files were corrupted beyond recovery, and 2 main hard drives failed overnight. Coincidence? Maybe. But after weeks of tracking every clue, few still believed in coincidences. What truly happened that night at Charlie's home has never been revealed. The one person who might have known the person reportedly paid to stay silent has now vanished without a trace. And then came the twist no one expected. By the next morning, the entire story went quiet. Major outlets fell completely silent, as if nothing had ever happened. Only fan accounts and a handful of independent blogs kept the conversation alive until a 38-second clip surfaced online. Its title? The Garage Scene. The footage was grainy, the kind of dim, flickering image only a security camera could capture, but the timestamp was unmistakable: 1:56 a.m. At the entrance of Charlie Kirk's home, a tall figure said to resemble Charlie walked toward the garage. Just steps behind, a smaller, tense-looking silhouette followed closely. The timing matched perfectly with the moment Mason had described. Then came the detail that made everyone pause. As the taller figure turned, the faint light from a phone screen flickered, almost like he was recording something himself. Within hours, the clip exploded online. Viewers slowed it frame by frame, zoomed in, added captions, hunting for every hidden clue. One reflection revealed what looked like a partial license plate, and online sleuths traced it to a rental property registered under an alias connected to a financial advisory firm in Washington, D.C. Coincidence? Maybe. But with this story, nothing ever stays random for long. By noon, Erica Kirk released an official statement through her publicist, 4 carefully worded sentences that felt almost icy. Our family asks for privacy while false online rumors continue to circulate. We remain focused on faith and healing. But the internet wasn't convinced. Comments poured in. Faith and healing, one wrote. You can't hashtag your way out of this. Then came the next shock. A mysterious audio clip surfaced, allegedly captured by a neighbor's outdoor microphone that same night. The sound was faint but chilling. 2 voices, one sharp and firm, believed to be male, the other softer, almost pleading. And then, a metallic slam like a car door closing, and everything went silent. A Reddit user claimed to have turned the volume all the way up, and swore they heard a faint whisper in the clip. They already know. Was it Erica's voice? Or someone else from that late-night meeting Mason described? No one could confirm it, but the timing matched perfectly, like the final pieces of a puzzle snapping into place. Then came the next explosion. An anonymous account called TP Inside Files began dropping what it claimed were screenshots from internal Turning Point group chats. One message, allegedly from a mid-level coordinator, read, "The boss made it clear about Mason, his scene is too much." Another quickly followed, "Delete the garage camera backup before HQ tells you to." Minutes later, the account vanished, but not before users saved everything. The hashtag number #VaultLeak spread like wildfire. Independent blogs lit up with headlines. Daily Scoop ran one that no one would have dared to print a week earlier. Turning Point faces potential crisis. Suddenly, every outlet wanted a piece of the story. According to online reports, Erica spent that afternoon on the phone calling lawyers, sponsors, and advisors, scrambling to contain the fallout. One source even claimed she was advised to leave town temporarily to an undisclosed location in Montana. In other words, to lay low until the chaos cooled. But it didn't. That same evening, hundreds of reporters received a mysterious email, the sender's address, secure@protonmail.com. The subject line, "You were right." Inside was a 2-minute audio file. The voice, shaky, low, undeniably familiar, sounded just like Mason Reed from his earlier podcast appearance. "I shouldn't say this," the voice began, "but if they think deleting the cameras will protect her, they're wrong." There's another copy. He mentioned a backup drive, hidden where Charlie once kept a silver memento, something close friends knew existed but was never meant to be found. It was a symbolic clue because Charlie was never known to collect or use any kind of weapon. So what exactly was Mason referring to? A hidden safe? Or something far more complex, an encrypted digital archive? No one knew for sure. The message ended abruptly, mid-sentence fading into static before cutting to silence. Within hours, media outlets dubbed it the 10-minute warning, because the clip vanished from every major platform just minutes after it went live. Erica Kirk's legal team was quick to respond, insisting the recording was AI-generated. But the file's metadata told a different story, showing it had been created days before Mason disappeared. Even independent tech analysts admitted, if this is a fake, it's far too advanced to be a simple hoax. That's when people started to believe the story wasn't over. Not even close. That night, fans became digital detectives. Online sleuths began mapping gun ranges, storage units, and secure facilities near the Kirk's home. The hashtag number Find the Drive trended for 3 straight days. Meanwhile, our team quietly followed a different trail, a paper one. Records revealed that just 2 days after the incident, a local locksmith submitted a bill for opening a high-security residential door. The client's name was blurred out, but the payment cleared under GTK Industries, a company linked to Erica Kirk's family. If that mysterious backup drive really existed, it was likely gone long before investigators arrived. When confronted online, Erica appeared to lose her composure. In a now-deleted post, she wrote, "You people make a living off other people's pain. Leave us alone." 5 minutes later, her entire account was gone. And just when it seemed the story couldn't twist any further, a new name entered the picture. Leah Porter, a former tpusa scheduling assistant fired just weeks after Charlie's departure, went live with a claim that stopped everyone in their tracks. She said Mason had reached out to her shortly before he vanished. "He told me not to believe the official story," Leah said during her live stream. He told me there was proof that the meeting that night wasn't about money, it was about control. Control of what? Leah never explained. But she did reveal that Charlie had once handed her a sealed envelope and told her, "If anything strange ever happens, send this." That envelope never made it to its destination. According to Leah, someone intercepted her on the road, and when the postal records were checked, the signatures didn't match. Her livestream chat exploded. Half the viewers called her brave. The other half accused her of making it up. But then, Leah showed the receipt, a real US postal tracking slip, dated just 2 days before the incident. The comment section went silent. Investigators cross-checked the phone number on the document and traced it to a nonprofit organization in Washington, D.C., the American Integrity Initiative, reportedly one of tpusa's top 10 funders. From that moment, the narrative shifted. It was no longer a tragic love story. It was a political chess game. What if Erica's involvement hadn't been coincidence? What if her role had been planned from the start? Online, speculation caught fire. Commenters began calling her a media asset, a woman positioned perfectly to steer the story from the inside. Memes spread across TikTok, showing Erica's face in a carousel of identities. Wife, widow, CEO, inspiration. Each photo carried the same haunting caption: "Nothing is random. End of 2 fram." And just as the frenzy hit its peak, our scheduled investigative upload, the one revealing the leaked emails, suddenly disappeared. The message on screen read, "Removed for security review." Moments later, YouTube flagged the file as potentially manipulated, even though the footage was raw and unedited. But the takedown only fueled the storm. The video reappeared everywhere: Rumble, Telegram, Reddit, spreading faster than ever. A true Streisand effect in real time. Those leaked messages, according to reports, revealed something far deeper. Donors quietly discussing how to navigate the media fallout and how to transition leadership to family hands. It was a cold, calculated exchange, full of corporate language and emotionless phrasing. But to those who had followed the story from the very beginning, it all pointed to one thing: succession planning. Looking back, Charlie Kirk's passing no longer seemed just tragic. It felt suspiciously well-timed. And when reporters reached out for comment, Erica's team responded with a polished PR move. A photo of her volunteering at a children's hospital, captioned simply, "Love trumps hate." But sharp-eyed viewers noticed something strange. On her wrist gleamed the same gold bracelet Charlie had once given her on their anniversary, except this time, the engraving had changed. No longer CKJV, but a new set of initials entirely. Within hours, internet users matched the letters to JD Vance, a political ally of tpusa. The speculation exploded instantly. Was this the figure Mason had hinted at, the man who never lost an election? Vance's office dismissed it as online fiction, but the spark had already ignited. Podcasts, TikTok breakdowns, and late-night commentary all began the same way. The Bodyguard was right. Even Mason's harshest skeptics went silent. Because if this was fake, he would have needed access to impossible things: private servers, federal databases, donor emails, and personal images, all while vanishing completely. So where is Mason Reed? Theories swirl like fog around his name. Some say he fled the country under a false identity. Others believe he's under quiet protection. But the most unsettling rumor claims Mason never left Arizona, that he's still out there, blending in, watching it all unfold. One viewer even swore they spotted him in a recent prayer livestream, standing near a fence, hood pulled up, avoiding the camera. Maybe he's hiding in plain sight. Or maybe he's waiting to release the final piece of the puzzle himself. Whatever the truth is, one thing has become undeniable. The people who once controlled this story are gone. The internet owns it now, and the internet never forgets. But just when everyone thought the mystery was reaching its end, a new name surfaced, one that changed everything. Not a donor, not a politician, but someone far closer to Erica Kirk than anyone expected. Rachel Vaughn, her trusted personal assistant of over 3 years, the woman who organized the memorial service and handled every piece of Charlie's estate paperwork. At first, no one noticed when Rachel Vaughn's LinkedIn account quietly disappeared. But then an anonymous whistleblower sent a 14-page document labeled Personal Correspondence. Inside were emails between Erica and Rachel, written in the weeks surrounding Charlie's passing. These weren't casual work exchanges. They read like strategy memos. One line froze everyone who read it. Once the transition is complete, please confirm the level of commitment from donors. just one sentence. But it changed everything, suggesting this might not have been just a loss, but part of a larger plan for power. Another message sent chills through readers. The message must be compassionate, but firm. We cannot allow empathy to be mistaken for guilt. That email was dated just 36 hours after Charlie's memorial service. Even more shocking internal documents showed expense approvals signed by EK Interim, M. The board hadn't announced a replacement yet, but Erica was already acting as one before Charlie's family had even received his belongings. The revelation reignited the internet. Outrage swept across platforms. One viral post read, "She planned the promotion like a brand launch." Another said, "Love didn't end that night, it was rebranded." And then came the sighting. Rachel Vaughn, pale, trembling, clutching her phone, spotted outside a Scottsdale cafe. When a reporter called out, "Did Erica really ask you to sign for her?" Rachel stopped, looked up, and said just one haunting line. "You have no idea what they can do. You have no idea what they can do." Those were Rachel's last words before she turned away, rushing into a waiting car that sped off before anyone could get close. In every frame that surfaced later, her face showed panic, exhaustion, and fear. Within 24 hours, her apartment was empty. Mail piled up at the door. Lease terminated. Another person gone. Another witness silenced. By now, it didn't feel like coincidence. It felt like a pattern, a quiet effort to keep certain truths from ever being spoken. Soon after, Erica reappeared under a new account, Aries Faith. Gone was the politician. In her place stood a healing coach. Her post spoke of light and forgiveness, but one photo stood out. Her wedding ring, cropped out, with the caption, "Not all battles are public." Viewers traced the live stream to a Montana resort owned by a familiar sponsor, one reportedly present on that fateful night. What began as a story of grief had turned into a web of money, control, and power. And through it all, Charlie's bodyguard had become a ghost, haunting every unanswered question. Then came a new upload from the mysterious account M Retribution. Black screen, white text, "You can't delete everything." A shaky 45-second clip, a male voice whispering, "The truth is backed up." Then a flash folder. CK, Drive, 2 divided by final meeting, MP4. Maybe Mason was leaving the truth in fragments, forcing the world to piece it together one file at a time. "They want to bury it," he once said. But the truth always has a backup. Even when cameras are erased or witnesses disappear, someone, somewhere, is still recording. So ask yourself, how many coincidences must happen before it's no longer coincidence? How many people vanish before truth becomes dangerous? Every deleted clip, every encrypted message, every leak brings us closer to what Charlie's bodyguard tried to reveal. The story the world believed was never the real one, and the rest is up to you. Leave your theories in the comments, subscribe, turn on notifications, because this investigation is far from over. There is still a file, a voice, a secret waiting to be opened. This is the Gossip Room, where whispers become evidence and the truth, however hidden, always finds its way back to the light. According to public sources, this story is attracting attention in the online community. We only report what is of interest to the public, without any intention to confirm or speculate about anyone's private life. All information is for entertainment and commentary purposes only.